Welcome to Learn or Be Learned. We've been working on this project for a while now, and we're finally ready to share it with you. It's been under works for a good minute, and if you're on YouTube or Spotify, congratulations, you're watching the first video podcast of Learn or Be Learned. This is the setup that I've been working on. This is the other project for season 2. Season 2 is going to have video podcasting, but before that, this is the mini series about real estate and real estate investing, mindset, all of that with my two good buddies that are great realtors. They share not only their mindsets about buying your first home, buying your first rental property, the mindset of scaling and money and how all this works. But it's also the first time that we got to do a big project together, got to do a whole video podcasting, and I learned a lot. That's kind of why that's why everything's been so inconsistent, I could say. So, I appreciate your patience and your support and, sharing these videos and episodes. And I'm really excited to share this with you guys, honestly. And, please let me know what you guys think. And, without further ado, let's get right into this mini series, 6 episodes. We actually recorded them all in one batch and, rookie mistake, live and learn, but I cut them in segments, but I didn't properly address the ending of each episode. So some of the episodes are like, some of the episodes have oh, all right, catch you in the next episode. And then some of them are just cut right there abruptly. So, live and learn, but I think it was still really awesome, which I'd love to hear what you guys think. And, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Thanks.
I think that it's literally what he said last thing is you can be a friend, but the main thing is don't do your job, right? The first time a client reaches out or a prospect reaches out to you, a seller, buyer, investor, whoever it may be, they are looking for a value that we're bringing to the table. And it's not like we're doing a sales pitch about, oh, this is who I am. I am also a social butterfly. I can do this and that. They don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what can I provide to your table? I'm a professional. You're a professional. We're doing a job here. And we're entrepreneurs. We're trying to do a business. We're trying to create the value. And for them, the value is what we're trying to put to the table. Once the value has been met and once all parties have shaken hands, then we can pop the champagne and have to go out and grab food in the proper way, right? In between, obviously, in between showing homes and stuff, we will grab lunch. It's not like we're not gonna have a boring night, of course. So just that does happen, but at the end of the day, the intentions are, I think, even from my perspective, and I think Ramu's on the same page, is starting from the get go on the first call. It's let me help you get to the closing table. Let me make sure you find the right home. That's the intention. And we're not doing it as let's add each other on Facebook. Let's become Instagram friends. Let's follow each other on Twitter. That's not the intention. We're not here to do socialize. We're here to make sure everything you need, we're there. We'll get it. Our connections will be your go-to, and we'll be the wealth of knowledge for you. And we're here to tap into for that.
Absolutely. I think it's very important. I mean, you can connect, you can socialize. Without that, you have that vulnerability that we talked about in the last episode. Right. You're going to get close with your clients and your realtor. So that's inevitable. Just that's a byproduct. That's not a requirement. So something unique that I do want to share with people that they don't understand. So we're all in the state of Texas. So for our Texas listeners and other states that have similar laws, it's very important for buyers to sign a buyer representation agreement. And why is that? Oh, well, then I'm locked with one realtor and I don't know if I want to do that. And, I was told that I shouldn't sign by my friends, right? You should just work. I mean, if you can put your name on the contract when we buy and you'll get your commission still, right? Yes, all true, except legally, if you don't sign that, we don't work for you, we work for the seller. By the way the letter of the law is written, if you hire me to buy his house and you don't sign a buyer representation agreement with me, I represent him, not you. So I actually have no fiduciary duty to you.
Oh, wow.
So if you come back and sue me and say, Ramu, you knew there was something wrong with the house and you didn't, well, you have to disclose all material facts, right? But, find a unique situation that actually works with the scenario. You come and you do that. The judge is going to be like, where's your representation agreement? We don't have one. Oh, then he has no duty or obligation towards you. He only is required to give you fairness and respect, right? That you give to everybody.
Right.
You're a customer, not a client, right? Is that what they say, right? So when you sign that agreement, they're legally bound to you. But there's a security for the agent too. You're legally bound to them. So you want to interview and make sure that you do find the right agent, but you do want to sign that. And if you are antsy about this, most agents are going to try to do the maximum, right? 6 months is the typical maximum for representation. If you're not sure, sign a 3-month term with them. In 3 months, you're going to know, do I like them? I don't like them? You could probably run out the clock and just find somebody else. 6 months is a while, but 3 months, it's possible. Also, many of the experienced brokers will agree to a termination clause in the buyer representation agreement. Because an experienced broker will always say, I want to work with somebody who wants to work with me. And all business is not created equal. If you don't like me or I don't like you, there should be a way out. There's no point in forcing a relationship where everybody's unhappy. So most brokers will have some sort of exit clause. Usually it's dependent on level of effort put in. If you don't have any effort and you decide to walk away, okay, just sign the contract, like cancel it, you're done. But if you've put in some effort, they'll ask you for some sort of nominal compensation for their efforts. You can pay them off and move on. Which is actually, I think, great, because this way you're not tied to somebody. Even though it is a legal tie, you can legally untie it, right?
Right. Okay.
So don't be shocked about it. Don't be scared about it. Be smart about it. But do sign the buyer representation agreement. Don't go around shopping for homes with somebody who does not legally represent you. It is not in your best interest.
Yeah, precisely.
I also liked the idea you mentioned earlier about, essentially you were talking about, I guess as I'll coin it, transitive social proof, right? Almost like borrowing social proof of others. Like if you are just starting out, I think this is great advice maybe for anything really, is if you're just starting out, it's like, well, why should I believe, or why should I work with you? You're just starting. You barely know anything, right? So when you said things like, oh, well, this is my coach, this is my mentor, these are the people I surround myself with, right? You're using other social proof, right, transitively, and using that as your leverage of, look, if I mess up, I have people that know more than me that will help me in that direction. So that's my assurance to you, essentially. And I think that's, I like that point a lot. I think that's a great idea, because I think a lot of people may have this sort of imposter syndrome when they're starting something, whether it's entrepreneurship, becoming a real estate agent, anything, right? So the sense of having the right transitive social proof to borrow could be a very good momentum builder for you.
Yeah, let me give you a very direct example, which I found pleasantly shocking. We recently went to a new home site with a client of ours. They really liked the home. They're ready to move forward, and we were going to sign. And prior to actually all of this, we walk in. The sales agent comes out, shakes everybody's hand. I disclose I'm distantly related to them. They are the buyers. I am their real estate agent. And so they go through and they say, "Oh, okay. What's your name? What's your brokerage? Oh, Team Velu. Velu. Oh, I met a broker 5 or 6 years ago who gave me some advice on sales. By any chance, is your broker this, coach that helps people with their health and finances?" I was like, "Yes, that's our broker." Yeah. And I instantly had credibility. Oh, great. Well, if you work at that brokerage, if you work with that broker, then you must really know what you're doing. That person doesn't know me from Adam, right? I just have a name attached to myself. Coincidentally, this person has worked with my broker before, and now we have this instant connection and excellent level of service and open communication that would have come anyways, but it's a lot more free-flowing.
Right.
And better believe it, my clients really felt great at that time. Oh, we really picked the best home builder and the best realtor. This is working out well for us. They have a level of comfort when they see everything kind of clicking. So borrowed credibility is totally fine. You have to until you build your own. And the system is very important, right?
I think talking about credibility, it's, for me, the way that I got into real estate was I did majority of my sales online. I got into YouTube, then Facebook, Instagram, and in LinkedIn, where I practically showed off the way that I do me. Like, I started doing analysis on homes. I started posting about different communities, and that eventually started building a community within different platforms. And I remember the majority of my clients I got in my first year of business. So I only been in the business about 2 years now, but in my first year was purely social media. I truly label myself as a virtual consultant. Like, if you need something, you're all the way in West Coast, you give me a call and I'll go out there and get it done for you. And the service still establishes. So you talk about building that track record of like, oh, you already have the credibility. That can be done through the systems that we have already available, by putting ourselves out there, by creating like our knowledge base and stuff like that. And I think that is proof of, who we are in reality as well. And when they meet you in person, you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, this is exactly what I was expecting. And that is another way of like really branding out and becoming a true version of what you want to be as a consultant.
Right. Right. So here we have, work on your credit score, save up some money,
Don't make any major purchases.
don't make any major purchases like getting a credit card, personal loan, car, furniture for a house. We talked about what was it called? Operating agreement or representation agreement? So always, have one, like get one signed. Right. And we talked about how to find the best or good fitting realtor for you and your needs. And now we're kind of at so we kind of had the pieces of where to go, where to start, how to get a house. Are there anything else? Is there anything else that
Yes.
needs to be discussed?
Yeah, let me go.
Okay.
So another thing, when we're talking about the target audience of tail end of millennials, top end of Gen X, our generation has this drive towards luxury homes, right? Which is great, and that's awesome. Part of that process is also understanding what your requirements are. There are more things to a home than the building itself. Location, 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 right? That there's 3 rules of real estate. Where is it located? How long are you planning on being there? Are you starting a family? Are you moving your family in there? Does that mean, that could mean kids, that could mean aging parents, right? So a lot of different requirements are there. And are you preparing for the next few phases of your life? Not just, oh, well, I don't have any kids now, so it really doesn't matter where we are. And it doesn't really matter if there's no walk-in showers. Okay, but if in the future, is there a possibility that you might have an aging relative that can't get into a tub and needs to walk into a standing shower? And you need a bedroom on the first floor and a full bath on the first floor for that aging family member. Or you're going to have kids and suddenly the big backyard is important.
Mm-hmm.
Or the playground and the community amenity is very important. That wasn't important when you bought the home.
Mm-hmm.
So planning ahead is very important. And look past just what does the home look like on the outside and, how fancy is it? Because a home is a house that you make into a home through the memories and emotions that you have, right? That's what Nithin is saying about your personal experiences. Is the home laid out to our lifestyle and liking? Do you like to entertain? Do you like to be very quiet and cozy? So the home has to match your personality as well. It's not just always about grandeur. So that's something I find often with young new buyers. They're usually driven by accessories instead of necessities. And being able to clarify that for them is part of the service that we bring to the table as real estate agents.
Yeah, exactly. And that is understanding the criteria, right? It's like, what do you want? What type of floor plan do you like? What's your living lifestyle? Do you want a backyard? Do you want the lot to be 60 foot, 50 foot, 45 foot? All those things need to be discussed with them, just so that gives us much clarity and gives them much clarity. We're on the same page. Then after that, I believe what we need to make sure is we have a plan, like a plan of action, because we don't want to. Because sometimes homes can take 3 months to build, 6 months to build, 9 months, a year. But at the end of the day, it's what timeline the buyer is on, right? We'll ask the buyer, like, what's your timeline? Someone will say, I want to buy in 6 months. So at those type of situations, you got to figure out, okay, in those type of matters, how do we navigate the times we have, like 3 months, the first 3 months, to figure out, okay, how many homes do we need to visit? What if we see a home that we really like? When do we actually put an offer? What X, Y, and Z things need to happen in order to put an offer? And those things needs to be sort of discussed or like gauged at a little bit before we actually jump in, because sometimes realtors who don't ask these type of questions, what they later end up happening from personal experience is that you find that out later on, even after investing a lot of time into it, and it's like wasted time for both parties. And to avoid that, it's better to ask all those questions initially, and that's what a proper true realtor, true consultant, true agent should do in like the first week of like meeting them, or like the first day. It's like, hey, what's your name? Did you get pre-qualified? How does your like income look? What's your credit score? All that fun stuff's already taken care of. And then let's sign the buyer's representation agreement, and all that stuff's taken care of. Then we have the conversation about, okay, let's dig into the numbers a little bit. Like what type of homes do you want? Or maybe that could happen before the buyer's representation agreement. But regardless, those main things need to be taken care of.
The timeline piece that you talked about is very important, right? It's not just about your realtor's time being wasted. It's also about the emotional attachment of the buyer. Imagine if you found the perfect home and you were not financially prepared to buy it, and you just can't get it out of your head. It's sold. Now you go, I want a home like that. Okay, but no one else is selling in that neighborhood of that floor plan. So you can do your best, but if they have a margin, you have to have, 100 different variables are ongoing. So you don't want to get overly attached, right, as a buyer as well. So go when you're truly prepared. And here is something beautiful when you are 100% prepared, right? You have the savings, right? To sign a contract, you need to put down at least 1% and option fees. So whatever, if you're pre-qualified for $500,000, you need to put at least $5,000 down on that home, right? I say at least. Up to, I guess, if you're pre-qualified for up to 500,000. So you need to have that kind of in your back pocket, right? In fact, I advise my clients to shop with a checkbook in their pocket. Or nowadays, people do direct ACH withdrawals. So have your account information ready. One of our clients followed all of our advice, was prepared. We went and we looked at, the exact example I gave where the sales agent recognized us. They said, this is it. It fits our price point. We like the area. We love the home. It meets all of our requirements today and in the future. We're ready. And the sales agent said, yes, great. Most people are ready, but you still need to do a few things. You need to get a pre-qualification. We need to get, collect the, earnest money deposit. And we need to do these other things. And they said, okay, Ramu, can you just send them all that info? I was like, sure. Forward. Oh, you guys already have it? Great. We walked out of there with a signed contract.
Wow. Yeah.
Which was amazing because I think there were like 2 more of those homes left in that neighborhood that they liked. And they got one of them. So the likeliness that it would have gone in, the 3 days time to get their pre-qualification and put all the funds in one account, but, it might have still been there. But in certain very competitive submarkets or neighborhoods, it can move very rapidly. Mm-hmm. The other thing to note is that if you're looking to buy a new home, there's a thing called lot premium. It's not the price of the house, but they put an extra number for the land. Now, the price of the home comes with the land, but if there's extra land for the lot, they'll put a lot premium. Or if a certain type of lot is in high demand, right? If it's like a hilly neighborhood and these lots are at the top of the hill, or something we see in Texas often is a particular cardinal direction facing lot is in higher demand. And so they all have lot premiums simply because people are willing to pay and they fill up first. Yeah. So a good realtor will be able to come and tell you, and they say, oh, I'm qualified up to this number. That's awesome. Keep in mind, again, speaking about a new home, you have lot premium, you have upgrades, and you have options. The number you see on the label is not the number you're going to pay. That's the starting price. It's like MSRP for a car, right? You see, oh, this car is $30,000. I have $30,000. I'm going to go buy this car. Right. You get to the closing table. This will be $39,000. What? Where did all that extra? Oh, we got dealer fees. We got taxes, registration, this sticker, that sticker. You want those, all-weather mats, right?
$2,000.
Yeah, usually a few $100s, right? But the whole idea is that there's a lot of closing costs or extra costs. Oh, not to mention you have closing cost, right, to the actual mix. A good realtor will also know what upgrades that you should put into the home and you should not skimp out on. For example, don't skimp out on flooring. It's not worth it. If you're going to put in carpet, the padding on the carpet is very important. Don't cheap out on the padding. You don't want to build a very nice house and not like to walk on the floor. That, you think about that and you're like, oh my God, that's, but a well padded carpet is always, I say always, typically speaking, worth the money. Because people will walk through a home and they'll feel how soft the carpet is. Oh my God, do you feel that? So luxurious. Suddenly the home is just sparkles in the next buyer's mind. So if you're renovating a home, put in padding under your carpet, right?
So,
renovate your kitchen. Granite countertops.
I want to ask now, right? I think this is a great segue to something I was curious about, is talking about the investment side of real estate. Kind of like you said, what your realtor should know, what kind of upgrades will and will not improve the value of the home, right? So there are certain things you can do to increase the value of the house. There are certain things that you should look for when you want to invest in a property. Maybe it's not just a house you want to live in. Maybe it's something you want to turn into an Airbnb, etc. There's all these things, right? Avenues you can go into. So I want to switch the topic now and talk to you guys more about the investment side of things, and maybe someone already owns a house or they live in an apartment or they're looking to buy a property but not as a first-time home buyer, more so as an investment standpoint. And before you guys answer that, I just want to address the audience. Thank you guys for tuning in to this second episode. If you want to hear more about the investment side of real estate, how to get your feet wet into that, or you want more knowledge, or you just are curious, stay tuned for the next episode where we will go more into the investment side of real estate.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.